Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us today. Welcome to episode 2 of the Battlefield Gamers podcast. We're veteran gamers of the Battlefield series that discuss the latest topics and news and share our experiences as well. I'm your host, Todd the Gator. I'm really excited to introduce my very first guest host of our show. I've gamed in Battlefield with this guy for probably over a decade now, and I'm curious to hear his opinions tonight. It's my friend, Mr. JoeTaco. Hey, man. How you been?
Good evening, Gator. How are you?
Very good, man. Very good. It's been a sauna here in Florida. My listeners probably don't know, but I'm from the Orlando, Florida area, and it's been a sauna bath. You go outside, and 5 minutes later, you're fully sweated and ready to get back in the house. It's kind of like our winters up there. We just got to stay inside as long as we can. But how are you been, man? How's the Northeast doing?
Exactly the same right now. Up in New England, I'm in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
It was humid and hot today. Actually, it felt like Florida. What I imagine Florida would feel like right about now.
And I was looking at the weather. The whole nation's under heat extremes right now. It's crazy, man.
I know it.
It's like the whole map is all red. I'm like, what the hell? It's crazy.
Been a crazy summer. July was the wettest summer on record here.
Really?
I mean, it rained like every day.
Wow.
Maybe we had 1 or 2 nice days, and now it's just hot. It was a little low. It was like fall for like 2 days, and now we're back into this. So.
Gee whiz, man.
I don't know what the hell's going on. I just stay in my basement. I don't want to go out anymore.
You live with your mom in the basement?
Yeah. Right?
Well, good to hear, man. Good to hear. Well, in this week's show, we're going to start out by getting to know JoeTaco a little better. We have some key news stories to go over about Battlefield 2042, and we're going to share our opinions of the short film Exodus, which was just released after several days of those daily, blog posts leading up to the short film, which premiered today. We're recording on Thursday, August 12th. So, and at the end of the show, I've got a code for a free copy of Battlefield 5. That's good for the first listener who grabs it. So without further ado, let's do this. Hey, Battlefield gamers. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Battlefield Gamers Pod. That's at BF_gamers_pod. You can also email us at BattlefieldGamersPodcast@gmail.com for any suggestions or questions for the show. And speaking of questions, would you like to send us a voicemail with a question for the show, or maybe just to say hey? If that's a yes, then visit speakpipe.com/Battlefield Gamers Podcast, where you can leave us a message. Just press record, speak your mind, and hit stop, and boom. It'll automatically send it to us, where we might actually play it on a future podcast. So check that out. Or you can just visit BattlefieldGamersPodcast.com, where you can find all of our contact information and also play our episodes in any order you like, right from your browser. So check us out. And later, Gator. Well, Mr. JoeTaco, thanks for joining me tonight, man. It's a real treat. I haven't talked to you in seems like forever. I mean, we converse in our little GroupMe app, where a lot of our old Battlefield buddies still talk together. And well, for our listeners out there, where are you from? What do you do? And are you married and have family?
Well, I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up here. I've lived here most of my life. For a short time, I did live in Northern California. That's where my dad is from.
Okay.
I went out there, check it out. I ended up back here. I'm an accountant. I went to school for that.
Nice.
It's exciting as it sounds.
I actually went to the Fisher School of Accounting at the University of Florida. I thought I was going to be a CPA, and found out real quick books of pronouncements were not my thing. So, I moved to something else.
I just like things that balance, things. Everything has a place.
I totally get that.
I'll chase the dime until I can find it.
Yeah,
but
totally get it.
Yeah, no, I'm married. I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters.
Nice.
9 and 13. So we just hit the teens. Well, it's kind of like she was a little early, I guess.
Okay.
In the teen thing, because she was like 12, and the attitude changed.
Oh,
I know you
know
have
it.
kids as well. It's just, It's exciting to see her grow up and become a young adult, but it's just hard for me to imagine, because I feel like I just brought her home.
I totally understand. I have a daughter that's 22 and I have a son that's 24 and, both are on their own now. I'm an empty nester officially. Yeah, so, girls, I don't know about you, but girls seem like it's a little extra to deal with. I know you don't have a son, but having two girls, but when I had my daughter and she's my second child, it seemed like it was a little extra needed. I can't explain what it was. Extra love. I don't know. Attention.
I grew up in a house of all boys.
My gosh.
It's all new to me. So I'm outnumbered. It's 3-1.
So you're surrounded by estrogen at your home?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm down in the basement.
You're outnumbered. I hear you, man.
No, it's been great. And, it's been a great surprise, to be honest with you. I think it's funny when I see, like my daughters when they were younger and they were around like little boys, like boys just going crazy and stuff. I'm like, I'm kind of glad I don't have that sometimes. But then at other times I'm like, well, I'd like to have a son too. So
sure.
It was a pleasant surprise for me. I'm really glad I have daughters. I love them to death.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's,
well, they got daddy on speed dial and they got daddy wrapped around their little fingers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. My daughter could ask for anything and I'd do it. So almost anything. So anyway, well, let me ask you this. What was your very first video game?
It's so long ago. It could be a couple of things.
That's all right. I'm not going to hold you to it.
I know. You're going to go back and check. But so I was born in 72, so I'm 49. Okay. So I was in the 70s. And I think, now, we weren't the first one on the street to get like a console or anything. It was my neighbor, who happened to be my friend. He got an Odyssey 2. You remember that system?
Oh, my God, an Odyssey. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the Odyssey 2, though. But I don't know what the difference is. But there was I remember he brought it. Oh, you can check this out. And there was a game, and we were playing it on the TV. I'm like, this is unbelievable. You can do this?
Yeah.
I just remember being so mesmerized. I can't remember what the game was. It had something to do with a caterpillar, maybe.
Oh.
And it was maybe like Centipede almost.
Centipede, yeah.
It was kind of like that. But and I was just enthralled by it.
Yeah.
So then my other neighbor had the Texas Instrument. We had to put the actual cassette tape in to play the game.
Wow.
And then finally, it was Christmas. Atari 2600.
Of course.
It was in my house, and that was it. I was on my way. But cool. I think the first game on that, was obviously Combat and that cowboy game that you shoot the stagecoach.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Man, I forgot about that game.
You pong and stuff like that.
I forgot about that game. Obviously, for me, I started on the Atari 2600, and my first game was Space Invaders was my first game.
Great game. I remember playing that at the bowling alley.
Oh, yeah, that was my first introduction to video games. It was at a Pizza Hut. My dad grudgingly brought me to help him, just go with him to pick up a pizza. And the Pizza Huts back in the day, they had these big red, booth areas you could sit around and wait for your pizza. And because they were always behind. You always had to wait a good 20 minutes to get your pizza. Anyway, there was this shiny flat top screen thing that I went to. And it was all glass on top like a regular table, but then it had all these moving things in it. I went up to it and I asked my dad for a quarter and he had to yank my ass out of there because I was so hooked on this game. It was like unlike anything I've ever seen. And that was the original Space Invaders. Yeah. The original tabletop
game. And people now, kids now have no idea what it was like to play that. It was because you didn't do that.
No.
There was no video games. This is totally something different.
What did we do?
Asteroids. I don't know what we did.
I think we just went and played outside on our bike, right? With our friends and pretend. We did a lot of pretend. Stories. Yeah, we did a lot of pretend. We played in the gutters, because that's the one after the afternoon rains in Florida. I grew up in Florida, and you get these nice little gushers coming down, and we'd make little boats and stuff and put them in the gutters, and
there you go.
Just crazy, man.
Yeah, that's what we did. We played in the woods, or you just played the neighborhood kids, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I remember Asteroids when I saw it. It still sticks.
Yeah,
but
you don't forget.
The movement and the spinning and the things breaking and trying to avoid it and the excitement of it was unbelievable.
I don't know about you, but I worked at a grocery store when I was 16, 17, when I first learned to drive and had a car. And I remember I would blow half my paycheck at an arcade next to an AMC theater.
Really?
I think they had AMC's down here back then. And there was a theater, and then next door there was an arcade full of, it was packed to the rim with every game you could imagine. And my favorite by far was Punch-Out.
Yep.
And I remember I put so much money in that damn game. And then finally you get to Mike Tyson, and he would one punch you after you got almost like a sliver of health left on him. And he would do an uppercut and you were done. And you would just be raging. Ah, good times.
Well, you did it all wrong. You know that, right?
What did I do wrong?
You know what my high school job was?
What?
I worked in an arcade.
Oh, lucky you, dude.
So I played everything for free.
Dude, we couldn't get that job. That job was like upper echelon tier job for a teenager.
Okay, so, yeah, I had an in. So So maybe that was it. My dad was a police officer.
Nice.
And, they do pay details.
Yeah, they do the security, like moonlighting and stuff on the side. Yeah.
So his detail was to work outside this arcade called the Dream Machine.
Oh, man.
And then when I was in high school, all my birthday parties growing up were at the Dream Machine.
Oh, sweet.
So they opened a new one in a new mall, and they needed somebody. I was like, I just got my license, and they say, hey, do you want your part-time job? I'm like, yeah. So I became, as my friends called me, a currency exchange technician.
Yeah, you were. You had the little quarter dispensers.
No, yeah, I had that, and I just gave out tokens.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Prizes, the skee ball prizes.
Oh yeah, that's right. The little junk they had behind there that was worth 2 cents.
Plus I was in the mall in the 80s. The mall was the place.
It was a place, dude. It was.
It was a place. We were right next to the food court, so I knew everybody that worked at the food place, like a free food, free arcade.
Dude, and that's where the girls were, man.
And that's where the girls were, yeah.
Hell yeah, and they'd be in big groups, and you'd be like, oh man, I love my job.
I had a flowing mullet. It was beautiful.
Oh man, that's sweet. I didn't have a mullet, but I had the twin part. I had the big twin part head. I got that 80s twin part. Yeah, that's what I had. I couldn't grow the mullet. My mom and dad, I don't think, would let me, but I was a pretty straight-laced kid when I was young. I was very shy.
It was a lot of fun.
But dude, that's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. What was your very first Battlefield game?
Oh, it was probably Bad Company, the first one.
Battlefield Bad Company?
Yeah, Battlefield Bad Company.
Okay.
But my first online one was Battlefield Bad Company 2.
I know. See, that's when I moved over to Call of Duty, and I totally. You know why I skipped Battlefield Bad Company 2? Because I saw these characters they had in the game, which was totally new for Battlefield then, and I was like, "This is like tongue in cheek. I want a serious game. What is this? These jokey guys? What is this? These cartoonish guys in the game?" Not even knowing that was the precursor to Battlefield 3.
Yeah, it was fun. It's funny to go back and try to play something like that, because you couldn't even go prone. You could just kneel and shoot,
right,
and stuff. But we had such a good time, and then that's where I met a lot of the guys.
Yep.
That I ended up playing with. So
yeah, and I came in after that because I was part of the Battlefield 3 crowd. That was my first Battlefield game, and you guys keep talking about Battlefield Bad Company 2. I'm like, damn it. Why did I not play that game? I was so enthralled in Call of Duty then. My son had gotten me involved with Modern Warfare. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think at the time I was playing Black Ops, the first one.
Yeah.
And then I went to Battlefield. Well, no, I was playing Black Ops Online.
Oh, okay.
So then when I went to try to play Battlefield Bad Company 2, and I sucked at it. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I was just getting killed all the time. If it wasn't for this one guy who just said, hey, you just had a mic and he said, look, just stay with me, I'll show you what to do.
Yeah.
I probably would have quit. I mean, because I was just like, this sucks. I can't do anything.
Battlefield is so much different than most arena shooters out there. It's so big that you could play one part of the map the whole game and never see the rest of the map the whole game.
Right.
It's crazy.
And then I was so used to just team deathmatch type games on Black Ops. I wasn't used to the bigger maps, and I didn't know throwing ammo or health or any of that shit. I was like, oh,
right.
Well. And like I said, if it wasn't for this one guy, I probably would have never played it. I would have just stopped playing because I wasn't doing well, and I was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But it just took some random person to say, hey, look, just hang out for me a little bit. I'll tell you what to do.
That's awesome, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And that's why, now, when I started playing, BF3 and BF4,
right.
I always try to, if somebody came along and they were kind of new, I always try to take the time to say, hey, look, try this out.
Yeah, you always try to pay it forward.
Stick with your squad.
Yeah.
Stick with your squad, and we'll help you along the way.
Exactly.
We'll revive you, pick you up, tell you what you're doing.
That is definitely the thing, man. Battlefield versus Destiny or Call of Duty, they want you to stay together in that squad. That's why they color code you on the map. They want you to realize this is where you need to go. And you can only spawn in on your squad. It's really nice. But,
ask any of the guys, I'm always lost. I'm like, where the hell are you guys?
Yeah, that's okay.
Where are you at? You're at Charlie? All right, I'm on my way. I'll be on the other side of the map trying to get there.
Well, if it was Lieutenant Dan, him and, I'm trying to remember, they ran the MP3s all the time and Rambo, and they were so fast. They were so fast. I couldn't keep up with them. And finally I said, well, I'm just going to hold this area down because you always get someone trying to come back behind you and take the flags and conquest I'm talking about. And, I
think it was the MP7, I think.
MP7. Yeah, not MP3. MP3.
And then I talked to Lieutenant Dan, and that was the first thing he said when he saw the new Battlefield, and they showed the weapons that were available in Portal.
Oh, yeah.
MP7.
Oh, MP7. I know. We heard about it. Yeah, that's the first thing he said. Yep. Yeah, but we got a lot more friends now than we back then. I mean, we got quite a few guys, especially guys that have joined up on the clan in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. That's when I kind of phased out of Battlefield. I was playing more Destiny than I was Battlefield. Because I don't like the historic shooters are nice, but when Battlefront and Battlefront 2 came out, the Star Wars games, I was really because DICE had made them, I knew they were the same style of game. I really wanted to play those games, but the progression was so lean on them. It was such a stripped down game. It just gave me such a bad taste in my mouth. And then when Battlefield 1 came out, it was very similar to that. It was like the same template that Battlefront 2 had.
That definitely was a stripped down game. And
yes.
But you know what? The thing I enjoyed, I think where I lean towards, modern, I lean back to historical, where you lean modern to forward.
Right.
Like the more, that thing. I lean back. It was interesting to me because I didn't know a lot about World War I, and two,
right.
The atmosphere of the game was so cool.
Yes.
I remember the first time I was playing, I think, one of the war stories, and I saw the flames just shoot out of one of the bunkers, and it was one of those flame troopers with the flamethrower.
Right.
I shit my pants because you could hear it.
Yeah.
So then in the game, when somebody picks it up, you can hear it and see it coming. It just adds that little bit of tension. I thought that was really cool. I thought the atmosphere of the game was great, and I thought the weapons were pretty cool. They were a little bit slower, but there was some neat stuff in there. And
the war stories were so well done. I mean,
I thought so, yeah.
Battlefield 4, the campaign was really nice because you actually unlock games that you unlocked weapons in the campaign when you completed certain objectives or got, so far through the story. And I would play through the end of the story so many times because I wanted that P90 that Hannah was always carrying around. Yeah. And, when I finally got that P90 and then I had several accounts, so I ran the campaign so many times.
You had to make the decision.
Do or die. What'd she say?
Or nobody. Or if you didn't do anything, everybody died.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. And I remember they were on the boat at the last part of that campaign. I still remember it was like, do or die, or I can't remember the exact words, but it was hilarious. I'd memorized all the dialogue. I'd played it so many times. And yeah, I mean, it just such great memories, man. And I mean, we can go on, but I mean, this podcast is mainly talking about the new game, the Battlefield 2042 that's coming out, which is a modern shooter, which is why I'm so excited to start playing this because I feel like I'm reconnecting to Battlefield again. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast because there's not many podcasts out there that talk about Battlefield. And I mean, I have a Destiny podcast as well, and there's a lot of Destiny podcasts out there, but when I looked around and saw what was out for Battlefield, there wasn't a whole lot out there. And I wanted to have an outlet for people to come and talk about their experiences and memories of the Battlefield series and what they loved about it and stuff. So man, thanks for embellishing on that a little bit because I kind of wanted to get into that a little bit. But Mr. JoeTaco, I have to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Dude, what's behind the gamer tag?
Oh, my name. Well, oddly enough, my name is Joe. Mm-hmm. I'm half Mexican and I love tacos.
That's right.
So it just happened to work out.
JoeTaco.
JoeTaco.
I love it.
It would have been just JoeTaco if that was available, but I had to put the 72 at the end because,
Right. There's a lot of JoeTacos.
Somebody else stole it from me. Someday maybe I'll get it.
Yeah, you never know. You can get in Discord, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, then I'll go to my next question here. So my listeners will know more about you what is one thing about you that maybe our community might not know about you. It can be something big, something small, whatever you decide you want to share.
Well, every time somebody asks me this, I talk about my third nipple.
You serious?
No.
I didn't think so.
I just like to talk about it.
Okay. Shit. Oh, God.
No, I don't have anything like that. I wish there was something more exciting that happened in my life, but it's been pretty standard. I do like to cook a lot.
Okay.
And actually, the majority of the other podcasts I listen to are cooking, and I'm actually reading Jacques Pepin, the French chef there. I'm reading his autobiography right now.
Very nice. Did you see the documentary about the Roadrunner?
No.
About Anthony Bourdain, his life? No,
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that one yet.
I saw it at the movie theater a couple weeks ago. Really well done. Really well done. So when it comes out to streaming, definitely I definitely recommend watching it. 'Cause it's really, really good.
I'll definitely watch it.
It was done so well, and it was done by someone who knew him for a long time. So, and they just wanted people to hear his story. And
absolutely sad. You know, he was always so connected to where he was. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was always in the moment, wasn't he?
Right. And I think that was the most impressive thing about that show, where he could have just went and, just did the hokey kind of touristy shit. But he was like really in there, and he took you to places that, you usually don't go, those shows. And he was he seemed so genuine when he was there. And then for it to end that way, it was just, I don't know.
He had a little bit of,
I guess you never know.
I was watching the movie. He had a little bit of imposter syndrome, where he thinks he didn't understand why people wanted to talk to him, or why he got so famous. He didn't understand why, because he was just an average guy. I mean, he was a struggling back cook in a crummy restaurant. Yeah. And I think it was in New York City, and then, just a strange turn of events. He became one of the most famous chefs in the world. So it's crazy. It's really
funny
crazy.
You say that, because he actually wrote the intro to Jacques Pepin's biography.
Did he really?
He did.
Wow. Right before he passed.
I was reading it, and I'm like, oh, this is Anthony Bourdain saying this.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. All right. I have one more question for you before we move on and talk about some news here. And it is this. In life, do you have a motto or mantra, and what might it be? Like rules that you live by, or things like that.
To be honest with you, what I try to do is, especially now with COVID, there's a lot of anxiety and stress in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You try to, and I just try to be mindful of now, of doing things now. And it's not to say I don't think about the future, but I don't worry about the future, and I don't think about the past, but I don't dwell on the past. I just you're going to miss something if you're not connected to now.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I think. I try to stay that way. And I know a lot of people with this whole, the lockdowns and the COVID and the pandemic, it's really causing a lot of mental issues for people. And I think you just really have to connect yourself to the now.
I agree, man. And we are so busy with screens and TVs and video games, and our phones are always wanting our attention. I take my dogs out in the morning to let them go out in the backyard, and I live in a pretty wooded neighborhood. And I will just sit there for 5 minutes, look up at the trees, and just watch the breeze blowing through the trees. And you'd be surprised how serene and how quiet you can get your mind. Just once a day doing that. It's amazing. It kind of sets you up for the day, It's kind of strange, but I'm not a big a meditation kind of guy, but I guess that's my meditation. It's a very small amount of time, but I just take in what nature's given me,
Right, exactly. I happen to live in an area where we have a mountain.
Oh, nice.
Kind of next to us, and we have a lot of trails and a lot a lot of woods here. And
nice.
I love hiking. I love the woods.
Yeah, I love being outside.
I drag my kids out there sometimes.
I hear you.
You got to come with me, or even by yourself. It's very therapeutic, and it's people think it's boring, but it's not.
No,
to me, it's not.
My wife and I take walks in the morning when she doesn't have to work. And then we take our dogs for a walk every night for about a mile. And it's everything's shut off. There's nothing in your ear blaring. It's really nice. I'm telling you, if you ever get stressed out, that's the thing to do, guys and gals out there, is just take a walk, get outside, get out of the house, get outside. Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you go. Just walk.
Well, thanks, Joe. I appreciate the little intro, man. I'm hoping you'll be on several shows from now, and I just wanted our listeners to know about you before we moved on here. And let's get into the news, man.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we'll do it right after this. All right, let's talk some news. What we do on our show in this segment is we kind of handpick our news stories about Battlefield 2042 that we want to share to everybody, and we discuss our opinions about it as well. So with that being said, let's jump into our first story. And our first story, this is sourced from a YouTuber named Earlswood, and he had a really good reasoning here. And the topic was, will Battlefield 2042 fail? I mean, is this going to be another CD Projekt Red? You know, another Cyberpunk game? And, my question is, has the game been overhyped? Has it been so hyped that we're going to get so pumped about this game that it's going to end up being, another Cyberpunk? What do you think, Joe? You think it's overhyped, or?
I don't know. I can't say I feel the same. I don't feel like it's overhyped. I think people are very cautious with this one.
Right.
Cautiously optimistic.
Right.
I don't feel like DICE or EA has been hyping it as much as other games in the past. It's definitely not as much as Cyberpunk.
Right.
That I don't even want to talk about that one. Only because the thing that really aggravated me about that is I had forgotten about Cyberpunk pretty much until 2 weeks before it's released. I'm like, oh, it's being released. I need to get that. I remember I wanted that.
Oh, and how many times was it delayed? 4 times? 3 times?
Right. And then it was finally out. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And I got the day of, I got it. And I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was a mess.
And I had gotten it for the PS4.
Oh, it was the worst version too.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you got the suckiest version.
Things weren't even, you couldn't even get things to, form correctly in the game. It was so bad.
No, it wouldn't form. It was just like, it was awful. It would crash all the time. I was like, oh my God.
This is guts. Did you get a refund or?
No, I kept it and I just kind of put it aside. I'm like, eventually I'm going to try it in the PS5, but I haven't, I played it through. I actually did get to play it through after a couple updates. It was kind of wonky.
Right.
I played it through and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I need to play this again. I don't care about the different endings. I don't care about Keanu Reeves and his shit.
Yeah, it was nice that he did that because, I love his movies and stuff. I'm the biggest Matrix fan you'll ever see. But you know what? Here's a couple reasons why I think, and Earlswood on YouTube also stated this, and I have to agree with him here. DICE has had several Q&As, several question and answer sessions with community members and and content creators, and I think they've listened to the community, and I think they want to try to implement a lot of the things that they're talking about, that the community has brought up, and they think they've implemented some of these things in the game. Obviously they can't implement every little thing everybody wants, but I think they generally know what people are expecting from the new modern shooter that the other games were lacking. Let's face it, Battlefield 5 was a flop. It did terrible.
I feel the same way. I hope they listen this time, and I assume they will.
Yeah, yeah. And they patched, Battlefield 5 and it's improved now, but when I first bought Battlefield 5, I couldn't see the enemy.
Yeah.
It was something different about that game. I couldn't see the enemy. Now, they patched it since, but the problem is I'm already playing Destiny. I already moved on.
Exactly. That's what happens. So if you don't get it out of the gate, or if you don't, I guess the exceptions to the rule would be maybe Battlefield 4 because that was a horrible release.
It was.
I didn't play it. And you stopped playing it for 4 months.
I endured.
They fixed it, or it was probably you guys that say, "Hey, it's better now. Try it out again."
Yeah, it was bad.
Come back, and I did. And they had done a lot of great.
Well, you remember Battlefield 3? We couldn't even get on comms. We couldn't even talk to our group in our. Yeah, this is before Discord and everything was coming out. That's how long ago this was. We didn't have Discord to jump in a party and talk amongst ourselves back then. So it was much more difficult, and we relied on those game speaks and that game chat. And
right, there was a workaround though. There was a different communication thing.
I try to remember what we did because there wasn't a lot of voice. There wasn't a lot of voice OP any voice channel type stuff out there other than what was in game.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have cameras to use hand signals to each other?
I don't know. Well,
we did something.
I think we adapted in Battlefield 3. I think we did commands or something, or stated pings or something. I can't remember what we did. It's been a while, but Yeah, it was so bad. And yeah, Battlefield 4 had a lot of glitching, had a lot of errors, had a lot of bugs in the game. And, I was loving the game so much though, because of all the deep progression in the game. I mean, they had a damn attack boat that just destroyed things. I love that. That was so much fun. Dude, that was my favorite vehicle. Those nautical wars, those nautical battles were so much fun. You were just blasting people running on the islands and stuff. It was so much fun. But I think I get a different feeling this time around. I mean, not only the fact that DICE is not by themselves here. They've got several studios helping them and doing different parts of the game. In fact, they even have a mobile segment of this that they're coming out with in 2022. So I just have a really good feeling about this release. And, people are saying, well, I think it's going to be game of the year, and this is how a first person shooter should be played and how it should be made. I'm really hoping that's a fact. I really hope that's in fact what's going to happen. But
I'd love to see that. And I'd love to see the community back to where it was. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. I think, just the loss of, we had so many people every night.
Yeah.
Playing. And these are your friends. I mean, you talked to them all the time. You knew what was going on in their life.
Oh, yeah.
And then, it just kind of all fell apart.
I mean, the games were an hour long each. I mean, a good conquest battle, a good conquest game, you'd be playing an hour-long game. So you guys caught up. Everyone got caught up with what's going on with everybody.
Oh yeah,
and of course we were pros, so I mean we'd mix in the commands and we'd organize our routes and stuff when we took over flags and stuff. But we always had that mode where we slipped back to just talk and just BSing, and talking what's going on.
Pretty much, yeah. It was just talking BS, and then we'd fuck around sometimes and just have fun. It was good.
Well, another reason people might think this game will fail is that it's going to be too futuristic and it'll kind of lose the grit, the Battlefield gritty type of games that they've made in the past.
I don't know.
I'm thinking like jetpacks and super futuristic stuff. I mean, we saw the mechanical dog, right? The robot dog. That's the Sentry.
Right.
That's going to be roaming around. I mean, what do you think? Is it going to be too futuristic or?
No, I think it's going to be a good balance. I did, I have to admit, I did see some of the leaked footage today.
I did too.
The play test, and the guy was using that grappling hook thing.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty cool, and it didn't seem like it was too over the top.
Right.
And I actually saw the dog today too.
Yeah, I saw too.
And it looked. I can see that happening.
Was it me, or did the footage look really grainy? I mean, very, very, like it was definitely a test model.
It did. It was definitely, yeah. But
it was definitely not the polished product.
Yeah, that build could be older than what they have now.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to test maybe.
You knew it was going to happen though, man.
That maybe.
I don't care what MDAs you tell people and sign and threaten them you're going to sue them or whatever. People are going to leak it. It's going to happen.
I don't get it though, because the guy's name is right there on the screen.
I know.
It tells you who this is, test, and it has whoever it is.
Yeah.
Their little name under there. It's like, this is your footage.
I know. It's crazy.
You know where it's coming from, or he just doesn't care, or he doesn't know. I have no idea.
I guess he just makes another account. I don't know. I don't know if they IP ban him or what. I don't know, man.
I don't know how it works. Maybe DICE and EA just, they factor that this is going to happen.
Or maybe they purposely let a couple slip through. Little marketing.
Exactly. Because I'll be honest with you, I watched it today, and it was very reminiscent of Battlefield 4, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. The movement was cool. The guns were cool. That new, I don't know what the hell they call it, the plus system there where you can switch up your weapons.
Right. I saw that
on the fly.
I saw that.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That's going to be really nice.
I kind of hope they have the depth of Battlefield 4 with all the attachments and the different variations instead of just having a couple different versions of the same game.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I jumped in some Battlefield 4 today, and I was wanting to change it, how my gun was laid out. And I had to go to the main menu. And while I'm sitting there, totally, able to get shot or anything, I'm just exposed. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the map, trying to go over stuff and go over my gun and see what I unlocked on it and stuff, because it's been a while since I played it. Yeah. You're vulnerable. And the way they have this new system where you can quickly just right there. And, doesn't the new Call of Duty do it kind of like this?
I don't, the brand new one, the Cold War?
Yeah. I mean, do they have it? Don't they have it where you can pull up like a display and flip stuff around? I don't know.
I think you can't. No, I don't recall that. Yeah, I didn't really play a lot of the Cold War.
I play Destiny. I don't play Call of Duty anymore, so I'm just curious if they got that idea from then. But anyway, the reason I believe that it's not too futuristic, I think Battlefield needs to change it up. I think what they've done in the past is the past. I think they need to come out with something different. They need to come out with a fresh game that's not just a reskinned form of Battlefield 4, you know? I mean, I think they need to have this is 8, 9, 10 years later. They've got to get, I mean, they're competing with Destiny, which is one of the best first person shooters out there right now, as far as gun handling and the visuals on when you're handling the gun and in game. Yes, it's very, very futuristic, but it still maintains a little bit of realism because the guns are believable. And the skin, whatever it's hard to explain, but the way the gun's laid out and everything, it very much looks like a military or a militaristic type gun. So it's believable. You know, it's not overblown, but the reason I play a Battlefield game is for its grittiness and its realism. And that's what I'm really hoping that they stick to that at least, even though they're going on a futuristic shooter here. But what do you think, I mean, with Warzone bleeding a lot of players now, and God knows we know what's going on with Activision with all the internal issues they're dealing with right now. Do you think Battlefield 2042 is going to replace Warzone, or do you think it'll bleed player? You think it'll dominate?
I think a lot of people had left Battlefield and went over to Warzone.
You think it'll?
I think this will bring them back.
I'm thinking that too, man.
You know, this has like you're saying, it's not Battlefield 4, but its roots are in Battlefield 4. You can see that. Yeah. And you can see that today, and we'll talk about it later, Exodus.
Right.
For that matter.
Yeah.
And the weapons are believable. You know, and they do look like something you could have in the near future. And it's not too over the top. No, I think this will definitely, and plus, you know, they have helicopters again. Who doesn't love flying those guys?
I found that out today. I was getting pummeled by an Apache.
Oh yeah, that would be, remember Goslin? Gosly was always
the best
pilot, and I'd get in the gunner's seat, and he'd fly around. I had so much fun just flip on the infrared, and we'd just destroy people.
And, you know, repair them. You'd be in there with a repair tool helping them repair. It was so much fun. Good times, man. I tell you what, though, with all the hackers and cheaters that I've heard are going on right now in Warzone, how it's just running rampant. And the fact that Battlefield has stated they're not going to make a battle royale leads me to think that Call of Duty players might make that switch. So yeah, I have to agree with you, man. I think the gate may swing the other way. I know Call of Duty's always dominated over Battlefield in the past. There was a small window where things were pretty even, or maybe Battlefield had the advantage, but Call of Duty has always been the leader. And, with everything going on in their world right now, I don't know. And their next game's going to be a World War II shooter, the Vanguard. So maybe people are tired.
I never understood the little burger war thing between Battlefield and Call of Duty. I thought they were
they're two different games.
They're different games.
They are very much.
You know. Yeah. I just Battlefield was more. I mean, I'm gonna say it was tactical milsim, but it was more leaning towards that than Call of Duty. Right. And it was. The pacing of Battlefield was totally different than Call of Duty. So
I agree. Yeah, it's totally different games.
And maybe because I was older and I got into this online gaming as an older person. I've gamed my whole life, but I really got into online gaming until, Black Ops 1 and Call of Duty.
Right.
And BF.
Bad Company. Right.
Bad Company 2. And I was like in my 30s.
Yeah.
And it appealed to me more, the pacing of the game, I think, than running around. And
yeah, it's not an arena shooter. I mean, it's not a very, I mean, let's face it, most of the maps on Destiny and Call of Duty are very small. They're, I'm sure there's some ground war maps that are a little bit bigger, but they're still relatively small maps. Well, some people are saying that the fact that it's being built on the Frostbite engine means that it's not going to perform well to today's specs. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, Frostbite is an old engine, but there's a lot of really nice games today that are on Frostbite engine.
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of a Frostbite game I didn't enjoy, or the look of it. And, some of the older games even look great today. I don't know if, I'm assuming they updated it, There's an update.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
just excited to see what it looks like.
I'm sure on the back end there's been improvements. Oh, I'm sure they keep improving that.
Sure. You got to keep moving.
Absolutely. I mean, I when I jumped into Battlefield 4 yesterday,
how'd it look? I
got to admit, it looked pretty gritty still. I mean, it still was very nice. I mean, this was an 8-year-old game. I mean, that's unheard of. That's the first 8-year-old game I've gone back and jumped into. I mean, I'm always on the cutting edge when it comes to shooters or first person shooters. So jumping back into an 8-year-old game, which is Battlefield 4, I was able to function in it. I mean, it wasn't, the graphics just weren't really super grainy. They were still very tight and very, very realistic. You still get mud on your gun and stuff. And then in the newer Battlefields. So I don't think there's going to be a problem with that. If anything, I think because the consoles today are basically almost as strong as a PC, I think they're going to have a much easier time with the huge player counts that they're talking about bringing in. The 64 v 64.
Yeah, that's
32 v 32. I think they're going to be able to hang. In the past, I think they pushed the limits of a PS4 or a PS3, but I think now with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, I think they're going to be able to handle it. So
we'll see.
Time will tell. And then, as far as concerns going forward, and I think that's kind of been solved already, is they never really posted any actual gameplay. And that bothered me a little bit because, I mean, let's face it, Cyberpunk really didn't show much gameplay either. They showed a lot of demo stuff, a lot of computer generated graphics and stuff. And I mean, seeing that leaked footage today, did that sell you? I mean, was that enough for you to?
I know that's not the finished product.
It was very basic.
I know.
Yeah,
it's very basic, and it was a build that, I don't know, but the gameplay itself sold me. I mean, the guy was running around with that grappling hook thing, and I'm like,
right,
yeah, that's workable for me. And it reminded me a lot of, like I said, the setting reminded me a lot of Battlefield 4. The weapons did too. And, Well, even that sold me.
I honestly think we got Gamescom coming up the end of this month. Yeah. I really think they're going to announce the beta. I think the beta is going to be sometime in September, and I think it might be pretty sooner than later. So I'm excited because I'm ready to jump into a beta and get my feet wet and start seeing what's changed. What's changed in 8 years?
Can you stream beta?
I don't know. I think you could stream anything on PS5.
I mean, but I didn't know if there's a rule that you couldn't. Or
I don't. It's an open beta. It's not a closed beta. It's an open beta.
That's true. That's true.
I think I'm probably going to stream it so I can get some of my friends who play Destiny to look into it. But one thing I am worried about though is the fact that they're promising crossplay. Do you think they're ready for crossplay? Do you think it's going to be able to translate? I mean, I know crossplay is fairly new in a lot of games. I mean, Call of Duty, Fortnite was the first to do it. Now Call of Duty does it. And actually in about 2 to 3 weeks, Destiny 2 is going full crossplay, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, we know DICE is going to have bugs at the beginning. We know that the servers are probably going to be overloaded the first day. We know this is happening. We know this is going to happen. It's with any game. Right. Destiny does the same thing. They put you in a queue and they slowly trickle you into the servers, whenever it's a day one or a first week of a release. But I'm a little concerned about the actual crossplay. And what about region lock? I mean, what if, are we going to be cross-playing, if we have a friend that, we have some friends in Denmark, that we have gamed with in the past. And, we have some from the other side of the world. I'm thinking of Shibby. And, and how is it going to translate, as far as pings and packet loss and all that? It gets very technical, and I'm not technically advanced enough to even talk about it, but I'm just curious if the cross-play functionality might be an issue. And, I guess, like I said, I guess time will tell on this, but, I gotta tell you, I really feel good about this release. I really think that EA and DICE, I think they're going for it here, man. I really think
Gator, I hate to tell you the same thing. I do too. Because, and I only say that because last time, for the last game, I, pre-ordered and all this shit. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm never doing it again. I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
I swore to myself I'm never doing it again.
And here we are. We're talking about it on the show. We're talking about it on a podcast.
Like,
it's crazy.
Am I?
I'm telling you, man.
Keep a promise to myself.
That's all right, man. I'm the same way. I try not to make those promises because I know I'm going to break them. I'm just a gamer, man. That's what we do. All right.
Don't worry about Shibby. Shibby's in Arizona now.
Good.
I think he's moving to California.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it'll be a West Coast.
Shib's around, so we don't have to worry about him being locked out.
Perfect.
That is a concern, though, if it's region lock. Like you said, some of the people we play with in Europe, and I can't imagine they'd do that like that. I just don't know how they're going to work it.
I don't know. I
guess we'll have to see. I mean, like on the older Battlefields, going to the server, looking for servers.
Yeah.
You could select by region
right.
where you're at.
Oh yeah, of course.
East and west, and
that's true.
You could check the ping, which one's better. So
yeah, I love that.
Like that.
Yeah, I love that they even in Battlefield 4 they still show ping. They still show how strong your signal is.
Yep.
To that server, so you know to join it or not. It's really nice. All right, well, let's move on to our next story.
Okay.
All right, for our next story here, and I'm going to read some of this story verbatim because I know this story is probably a week old, but this was definitely a main story that I wanted to talk about tonight. It is from Game Rant, and it says Battlefield 2042 launches in October of this year and has become one of 2021's most anticipated releases. For Battlefield fans, Battlefield 2042 offers up the opportunity to experience huge battles set in a near-future science fiction setting, an experience unavailable in other products. That's why Battlefield 2042 will come with an upfront cost, despite a lack of single-player and ranked modes. In EA's eyes, however, despite the upfront cost, Battlefield 2042 is an entirely a live service game. In Electronic Arts' quarterly earnings report, CEO Andrew Wilson told investors exactly how they should think about Battlefield 2042. Wilson tells shareholders, quote, "You should think of Battlefield as a service," indicating that Battlefield 2042 isn't just a one-and-done purchase, but rather a platform that's expected to continue bringing in revenue well after launch. That's a message that shareholders will obviously want to know, which explains why Wilson is mentioning, despite Battlefield 2042's post-launch plans not really fully being explained yet to the public. And we both have had experience with live service games. With me, it's Destiny 2. And Destiny...
It's Warzone.
Exactly. And being that we're both have some experience with the live service model, and the fact that Battlefield has really never had a live service model, what do you think is going to be different? I mean, as we're playing the game, are we going to have vendors? Are we going to have a hub or something that we can meet up or exchange materials or do anything like that? Do you think it'll be something like that live service? What do you they say live service? What are you envisioning?
I just envision more, but they're going to add on to the story, the basic storyline that they have on. They've started. Maybe add some new maps, some new vehicles, and things like that, and more like the skins and the microtransactions you can buy. That's like my experience of Call of Duty is. In the new season, you get all these new skins, you get a couple new maps,
right?
A couple new weapons, that kind of stuff.
Well, Tom Henderson actually, in a story I talked about in my introduction of this podcast last week or a couple weeks ago, the leaker, yes, he mentioned that they were going to be that they were going to have the battle passes, the battle pass model, where as you play the game and rank up and generate XP, I guess.
Yep.
You're going to slowly unlock these things on this path, right? You're going to be able to see what you're playing to get. See, this is a problem that Destiny always had. Destiny has always been a live service game.
Yep.
But they just recently, I would say in the last 2 years, gone with the actual battle pass seasonal model where you actually get things for just playing the game. You don't have to worry about if you don't want to worry about any of the other things going on in the game, assignments, or bounties or anything like that, you can just play the game, shoot the mans, and score. And you can look exactly ahead on what you can look forward to unlocking. And couple of the things he mentioned were specialist cosmetic items for your specialists. And they've only listed not even half of the specialists that are going to be available. I think they said there's going to be 10. And also unlocking new hazard zone maps. Now, see, the hazard zone is the real question here, and I think when Gamescom comes out later this month, I really think that's when they're going to bring out and talk about hazard zone. Wouldn't that be the logical thing they would do?
But I would imagine. I mean, they've talked about it since this launched. I don't think people just got to keep asking about it. What is this? What is this? They have to give us a little something at Gamescom.
Well, what perked my ears up was when I was reading this article last week. It said hazard zone, and in parentheses it said story-based mode. Without DICE even telling us, the writer of the article is already mentioning that it's a story-based mode. So that my little antenna perked up there and said, "Okay, we've been following these daily blogs for the last week, and it stepped up into this main story that we're going to talk about in a minute." And I'm just really curious if what this hazard zone is going to be, because they're not really telling us anything right now. But
I think just based on the lack of a single player mode, I like these little crumbs they gave us this week into this little story. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think it's going to lead into that.
I'm really looking forward to this because everybody knows me in Destiny 2 as the bounty king, because first thing I do every day is I go to all the vendors at the tower and I collect up all these bounties and I multitask. And of course, every time you collect bounties and you turn them in, it gives you big chunks of XP and versus just getting regular XP playing the game. And I've been able to well exceed my battle pass for the season. It goes to 100 and I'm almost at 400. That's how much these bounties really add to it. So I'm almost 4 times the length of the battle pass, which I really hope that Destiny adds things for after the battle pass is completed. And they do offer something. They offer you like a special cosmetic engram that you can cash in, and it's like a random, like an RNG drop. So it's like kind of RNG little present package thing. I know most our listeners don't know what the hell an engram is, but it's just like it's a little mystery package, and you turn it into a vendor and poof, it lets you know what you get. And sometimes it's an emblem, sometimes it's an emote. It could be anything.
Like a little loot box.
Yeah, it's like a little loot box, and it's like a little it's just like a little RNG little special surprise, and that's what keeps the game interesting, because you're kind of rolling the dice when you turn those in. So as far as a live service game, and that brings me to Portal. I mean, we really haven't even talked about Portal tonight.
Right.
The fact that we can not only, and this brings me back to the server rental program where we would set up our clan servers and how we could set it up any way we wanted to. I mean, it was still on Rails, but we could list things like no this weapon, no airburst rockets, shotguns only, things like that. We can modify the game to be played the way we want to play it. And now it seems with this Portal that they're going even a step further. We can actually, these crazy setups that they're talking about, these crazy game. The sky's the limit as far as, and I know about our Battlefield community. I'm sure they're very, very creative. We're going to get so many creative game modes out of this. And
I want to be able to stand on the drones and joust people.
I love it.
That'd be cool.
I remember those days. That was great.
On the MAV. You stand on the MAV and you go up to that upper level on that highway.
Yeah. We'd use the MAVs to get up to higher levels on the buildings. Remember that? That was so much fun. That was so awesome. That was teamwork, man. That was teamwork, because one person had to maneuver the drone and the other person had to try not to fall off of it. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. What do you think about this Portal, man? I haven't asked you that yet, but where do you see this going?
When I saw the video they dropped, it was a couple weeks ago. I just seeing the old maps, the nostalgia, and then you saw the Bad Company grenade with a smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, God, I could play these maps again, because that's initially that's the excitement for me, because we lived in those maps.
Yes,
and I knew like every corner. You knew where to hide. You knew what to get back in there on the new system.
Right,
I think it's going to be great. I also think the fact that you can do your own thing. You can set up the teams the way you want them. You can, whatever the rules are, you can set them up.
Yeah.
You can even, they have the advanced stuff that I'm not even going to touch, because I'm just, I'm too old to be messing with the sliders and tinkering like that.
I'm going to try.
I don't have the patience for it.
I'm going to try.
Oh, you can try it, and we'll do it on the podcast. And this is what Gator made.
All right, cool.
So, a Gator made game, but yeah, I'm not even going to touch it. But I mean, that's great too, because I know there's going to be people that are good at it, and they're going to make these awesome games.
Yeah, Logic editors, they're really cool. I've kind of dealt with them a little bit, so I'm curious. I'm sure they're going to dumb it down where even the most basic programmer can figure it out. But
yeah, I'm at the plug and play level. You just as long as
I hear you, man. I hear you.
I barely get this mic to work, so
I hear you, man. I totally get that.
I call you to what do I do? How do I turn this off? There is no off, Joe. Can't turn it off. Okay,
start talking, Joe. You got it, man. Oh man, I like I said, I'm real excited about this coming up, and we just don't know a whole lot yet. So I mean, that's kind of the reason. I mean, we're probably really early for this podcast. We're doing a lot of speculation here. We're doing a lot of, what if this or what if that, but I don't know, man. I think the live service model is the way to go. I think that's the way most games are now. And
I play, Red Dead, Redemption.
Right.
Online now. I just started playing online. I've had the game since it came out. I just started playing online like a few months ago, but they do the live service, and I just, like you were saying, you can see what's coming.
Right.
And you can, like, in this particular thing, they're doing a quick draw right now, and it's like 25 gold, which actually costs real money, but you can earn gold too in the game.
Right.
So you drop the 25 on this quick draw thing, but you can earn it all back.
Nice.
By the end of the progression, plus other stuff, like other skins for the guns and some new hats and, maybe an emote or something.
Now, I speculated about this last week that they'll have a free track and then a paid track. Do you think they're going to do that like they do in Destiny and Call of Duty? Think it'll be the same way, or do you think it'll be a single track?
No, I think they'll have both.
Okay.
I think they'll have both, because that's actually what they do in Red Dead too. I think that's what everybody does.
Right.
You can just do the normal track, or you can pay the extra money and get the other extra stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to Gamescom. I think that's where I think Hazard Zone's gonna be the topic there. I think that's what they're gonna really bring everything. And I almost think like this is the last big reveal for them. I think they're gonna blow everybody away with this Hazard Zone that they're talking about. I don't know.
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, we're all sitting here speculating it, but I just love talking about it though. I'm just excited just talking about it. But
like I said, the offset, I'm just excited just to get back with everybody.
Yeah.
It'd be good. I mean, I know we talked to the guys like on our little group chat thing. But I mean, just to game with people again, and just because when we get together and you start playing and you start getting cohesive as a team, we just have a lot of fun because we're just kind of messing around, we're laughing about stuff.
Right.
And it was just always a good time. It was like a night out without going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly it, man. I mean, it's for the little amount of money that you're going to spend on this game, you're going to get probably hundreds and thousands of hours of entertainment out of it. And that's so easy to justify spending 60, 70, $100 on a game. It really does.
I never got that either. Oh, I spent, $70 on this.
Right.
But you've played like 4,000 hours on it.
Yeah. Divide your hours up.
I know, exactly. Divide your hours you put into the game.
Right.
And I mean, if the game sucks, Cyberpunk, I played it once through. It wasn't worth the money, but it's not all the time. I mean, these online games like this, you get a lot of them.
Well, before we end the show tonight, I wanted to get your opinion of the story, the Exodus, the mini. What is it? The short film that was out today.
The short film that was.
Well, the first thing, great. Holy crap! Irish is back.
Exactly.
As soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, wait a minute, I know that voice. And as soon as he took his hood off, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, dude. They're it's like they're picking up right where they left off in Battlefield 4.
I killed him, so he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that
today. I killed him to get the saw because that's how you got the M249.
Yeah, you had to. That's right. You had to decide who to kill to get what weapon. Right at the end, I remember that now.
At the end of the game,
and for me, it was Hannah because I wanted that P90.
There you go.
Oh man, that is crazy. So obviously, spoilery. We're into spoiler territory here because if you haven't watched the short film, definitely go watch it first because we're gonna kind of get into it here. The the daily blogs that they had for this, I guess for almost over a full week now.
Yeah,
they had
the embedded reporter.
Yeah, with the embedded reporter, and things kind of ramped up, didn't they, as the days progressed?
Until I think the last one was it yesterday?
Yeah,
yesterday was like, I could get the hell out of here, kind of. I want to die here.
Yeah, and it was the web page you went to was called Journey of No Pats, and I guess what in the future what they're saying is that you have the two superpowers at the time. This is 2042, 2041, 2040, somewhere in that time frame. That the United States and Russia are the two superpowers. And that, I don't know where China is on all this, but I guess something's happened we don't know about. I don't know. It's 2040. So, I mean, that's a long time from now. You know, you had the forces that were loyal to the United States, that were loyal to the Russians. And then you had these no-pats, which were basically just trying to survive, right?
Right. They were trying to, I guess, one of the superpowers from becoming the only power.
Right.
They were kind of like the balance, I guess.
They were kind of like the peacemakers, weren't they?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I got out of it. Yeah, that they were kind of the peacemakers. But you know, in the story, they keep moving in different areas of the world every day, and you can go to this website and read the blogs. We're not going to go over every day's little blog here, but and we find out that the NOPAT that we're following along is Irish, right? Because it picks up
from the movie, right?
Yes, because it picks up on this ship, and he ends up being on the Exodus ship, right? The U.S. naval ship that's been converted,
but he's
taken over.
Pac from Battlefield 4.
Yeah,
who turned?
Pac.
Or he was. I guess he's still with the U.S.
Yeah, watch a short film. We're not going to give away
it. We're not. It's only 9 minutes long.
It's 9 minutes long, and it's Battlefield. It's the Battlefield channel on YouTube. Yeah, you can hit it on repeat. I mean, we won't give away the end of the story. We'll let you guys figure that out. Because if you've already watched the movie, then there's no use in us telling you about it because you've already seen it. But if you haven't seen it and your interest is piqued here, then go check that out. So overall, I guess my question to you, Joe, is where do we go from here, man? We finished the short film. Where does this lead? I mean, what do you think this
leads me to some beta action?
Yeah, definitely that. Definitely that.
I want to see it.
I do too, man. I do too. But I mean, do you think this Hazard Zone they're going to reveal is going to be? I'm hoping they reveal at Gamescom in Germany. Do you think they're going to reveal this Hazard Zone, and maybe that's why they had this short film was to the lead up to the Hazard Zone?
See, I don't know. Because I like to me, like I was saying, I kind of feel this takes the place of the single player.
Right.
I obviously, I think Hazard Zone is going to have something to do with this. I'm not sure how it's going to relate to this.
Right.
Exactly. And because I don't even know what Hazard Zone is. I thought they said
they haven't told anybody. And the fact that I saw in parentheses story based in that article, and that was from, I believe it was Tom Henderson. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's all I'm hanging on to right now. I mean, like I said, we're still very early in this podcast covering this game because we don't know a ton about it yet. So
I just think this time next year we'll be really in the shit. You and I will be in it.
Oh my God, dude. We're gonna be talking about our game experiences every week. It's gonna be a lot of fun, dude. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And I want to have game experiences every week.
Absolutely, man.
With everybody, I want to do that again.
And eventually I want to bring the guys on. I want to bring the guys on to maybe even have a roundtable one night. Here. Yeah, have a roundtable. We can go around the horn and talk about our experiences and what we're liking about the game, what we hate about the game, because there's going to be something we hate. And so yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited. So, well, that's a wrap, everybody. Joe, I had a great time tonight, man. Thank you. Thank you for being you're my first. Being my very first co-host of the show. Well, let me ask you this, man.
It's quite the honor.
The honor's all mine, dude. When I talked to the group when I was first starting about thinking about doing this podcast, you piped right up and said, "Yeah, I definitely want to talk about this." So I thank you, man. I thank you for coming on the show tonight. And we're gonna have future shows. We'll definitely get together again. And I mean, leading up to obviously got Gamescom coming up. We got the beta. We got a lot of things to talk about coming up. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Release?
Oh, of course. October 22nd. And the fact that they boldly stated it at the end of the movie makes me think they're not going to delay the game.
I know. I think that was encouraging.
I think that I felt very confident that they were confident that they've locked it in. It's happening. So
I get the feeling they have this locked down already. They're going to crush it. They have to.
They've had 3 years. I mean, they've had longer than usual to work on it. Yes, I get it. COVID's definitely shaking things up, and gaming developers and gaming companies are having to adapt to it, and that means they're probably not going to be as productive as they want to be. So I know Bungie has been outstanding as far as adapting. I mean, they've got whole new content coming out in 2 weeks for the next season. We don't even know what the season's called. They haven't even told us. It's redacted. So,
I mean, not to get off topic, but I think the world was surprised, or at least not about the pandemic, but the way people adapted to working at home. I know I did. I'm like at hybrid. Everybody's going to a hybrid model. I'm at a hybrid model. I'm in the office 3 times this week.
Right.
I'm home the rest.
Yep.
But even during the time we were entirely home, things were getting done.
Yeah.
Things just shifted so fast.
Right.
Like I said, I had to set my house up with new mesh system because the kids are going to be home learning, and we're going to be home working, and we're streaming everything now.
Right.
Cable.
Are you sending your kids to public school, or are they're going to stay?
They're in public school.
Yeah, me too. Now has your schools gone? They've gone full open now, right?
Yeah, they went back. They went back part time like last January, and then they were full open in April.
Wow, so you guys
they were back every day in April.
Very cool.
For the last quarter.
See, we're buck naked wild down here in Florida. We've been open all last year.
I love it.
All last year we were open, and we've got some really bad COVID rates right now. We're probably one of the highest in the nation, but we have a lot of people that are not vaccinated down here. So it's a mixed bag, and there's a lot of deep political lines drawn here with mask, no mask, and I don't know where to be on this, to be honest. I mean, I just try to stay safe. I definitely don't want to expose people. I've gotten vaccinated. I've gotten all my 2 shots, and I'm sure they're talking about a booster coming down the road. So I'm probably going to get it done. But my dad had his, he had the double booster. The double shot too. And he has some mystery illness now. He's lost a ton of weight. He's on steroids right now because he was just feeling so weak. I'm sorry
to hear that.
Well, what we're thinking is he actually got COVID before he got vaccinated. I think it was too late for him. I think he's a long hauler. I really think he's gone to the cancer centers. He's gone everywhere. He does not have cancer. He just had his platelet levels very high, which they tell me is because his body's just inflamed. His body's reacting. It's fighting something, and they don't know what it is. So, I've heard of long haulers, long distance runners who can't even go to their mailbox now because of COVID. So we don't know. That's what pisses me off is we just don't know enough about everything right now. So not to go down a political jaunt here, but I can go on a tangent if you let me. Well, dude,
another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to thank you again. And was there anywhere you wanted to tell people out there where they can get a hold of you, contact you, your gamer tag, anything like that? Now's the time.
No, they don't. I don't really have like a website or anything. I'm not really promoting anything. Okay. It's Joe_Taco72 on PSN.
All right.
Or Joe. I think it's. I don't even know what my Twitter handle is. Joe_the taco.
Very nice. I love
and you
it.
know where I got that from? That setup with my name and the taco? I stole it from you.
Did I?
I stole it from you, Todd the Gator.
Oh, I love it. I'm
like, you know what? Because everybody has JoeTaco. I'm just going Joe the Taco because you have Todd the Gator.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, that's where you can find me on Twitter. It's Todd the Gator. Remember, that's GATR. You can find me on Steam and PS5 as Gator, all caps, GATR _ in between. And you can visit my YouTube channel. It's just spelled the same way, GATR, all caps, _ in between. And now we post our episodes of this very show on that YouTube channel as well. So if you listen to podcasts on YouTube, if that's the way you listen to stuff, you don't absolutely have to have a screen going in the background. It's a perfect place to go and listen to it. So visit my channel, GATR, and you can find our podcast there. You can find our podcast on whatever podcast app or catcher you have out there. Just search for Battlefield Gamers Podcast. It's very simple. Very original, by the way, must add.
That's a great name.
I couldn't think.
I'm surprised it wasn't taken.
That was me too. I couldn't believe that that name wasn't taken, and when it wasn't, I was like, well, I want people to find us easily, so I just made the name very simple. So, and you can find us on Twitter, by the way, at BF_gamers_pod. You can email us at battlefieldgamerspodcast@gmail.com, or you can just visit our website, battlefieldgamerspodcast.com. We do like to have questions on our show. People asking questions, some questions they might have about the game or about us. It could be cooking. really, cooking, anything you want, man. You can send it to us. You can go to speakpipe.com/Battlefield Gamers Podcast, and that's on mobile and on a browser. So they've really upgraded their the SpeakPipe channels upgraded their system quite a bit just recently, in fact. So it's very, very easy to send us a voicemail. All you have to do is hit record, have a mic talking to your phone, and hit stop, and then hit send. You can play it back if you want to listen to it before you send it to us, but then just hit send. It automatically goes to my email. It'll let us know you sent us a message. And then next time we have a show, we might read it out aloud on the show. So we hope that you'll use that little special aspect of our show. And I did have one question from a listener here, and he did send it to me via direct message. And it is from a friend of mine named Mr. Agent H.
Oh.
And he asked us this: what is the craziest stunt you pulled off in any previous Battlefield game? Craziest stunt you pulled off on any previous Battlefield game. You got something there, Joe?
Oh, I the one I remember the most, was the most fun, was myself, Berserker, maybe Rambo and Lieutenant Dan.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Clouded. I'm not sure who was with us, but we were in the Humvee.
Uh-huh.
We were playing. It was on. It must have been 3. It was Dan Van Peak. You know, where you do the jump off.
Yes, the big cliff. Yes.
Well, we took the Hummer over the cliff.
Oh no!
It took a lot of work to get it down there because there's a lot of boxes and stuff. You had to angle it down, but he got it down there. We all went over it.
Really?
I thought that was pretty funny.
And it didn't blow up?
Oh, it blew up.
Oh, okay.
You had to bail out. You had to jump out the door.
You just got there really fast, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, yeah, it started falling and we got out. It was just a cool map.
That was a lot
of fun.
I used to love just jumping out. I'd jump in a squad mate's helicopter, and I would jump down and parachute and just start gliding. Yeah. And I would have C4 ready to roll on tanks.
No, that was always fun too.
And I tell you what, I could play Battlefield 3 and get first place all the time and not ever shoot my gun. That's what I loved about Battlefield. Whatever you did for the team gave you points. You didn't have to kill someone. And I would run around in a Jeep and go behind everybody and start capping flags. As soon as the team would realize their flag's capped, I'd run away. And as soon as they cap it and go back to the front, I would run back behind them and cap it back. I was such a pain in the ass to the enemy team when I played Battlefield 3. And it was so much fun. And
I remember once in 4, I kept placing a claymore like on a little stair thing. I hit the same guy. It was the same dude. He came back like 10 times. I killed him with a claymore. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why does he keep doing that? I mean, maybe he was just trying to boost me or something. I was like, well, whatever.
Everybody
He'll be there.
Of course, everybody's done the ATV with lined with C4 running into tanks and stuff. That I think everyone kind of did that at least one time. So and he has one more follow-up question, and he goes, "What edition are you looking most forward to for the Battlefield 2042?
You mean standard, deluxe, or?
No, I think you meant edition, not ED, but ADDITION. What new thing in the game are you looking forward to? I think I know what your answer is going to be.
The Claw? No.
No, not that. I thought you were going to say Portal, but
oh yeah, definitely Portal.
That's mine too, man. I mean, just the fact that you can make such custom games, I think that's just going to make this game last so much longer.
But I just wonder how that's going to work. You know, is it going to pull people away from the vanilla?
I don't know.
Maps, and you're going to be more people are going to be over there.
Well,
I just don't.
They even stated, Joe, that they were going to have like fan favorites or community favorites. that they were going to sponsor, that DICE was going to sponsor. And then, of course, DICE is probably going to have their own crazy games they make up, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they made the game. I'm sure they're going to come up, maybe some of their staff that loves the game has come up with an interesting kind of game. So that'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun.
Well, the interesting thing, too, is because I believe I heard you're going to be able to get progression while you play Port.
Yeah. You get progression. Now, obviously, if it gets into like a farming situation, I'm sure they have some limits on how crazy you make the game.
You can't make it too like boosty. So.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, we don't want everybody at, rank 130 or whatever the rank's going to be now.
Well, that's going to reset every season too, I believe.
Oh, is that right? I did not know that.
Unless I'm just making shit up. I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
I think it does reset like it does in Call of Duty.
Well, see what Destiny does is as you rank up and get more and more XP, you have something called an artifact, which gives you all these different mods that you can put on your armor and weapons, and you unlock them as you gain more XP, and after that, you start gaining power. And in Destiny, it's all about your power level, not so much your rank. And your power level goes up 1 every like 2 million points or something. So, yeah, but here's the thing. Every season, when the season restarts, your artifact goes back to 0. So whatever raw power you're at, whatever your raw armor score is, that's what you start off with. And then there's a cap, of course, every season. There's a cap as far as you can go, but your artifact will artificially put you beyond that cap once you get to it. So, I'm curious to see how they do that. But, Agent H, I'd have to say Portal's definitely the thing I'm looking forward to. So, well, good deal. Like I said, visit our SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/Battlefield Gamers Podcast, and send us a voicemail. We use this on our other podcast, and it is so nice to hear those. And it's just so refreshing versus people DMing or emailing questions, which we like that as well. But it's really refreshing to hear someone's voice and asking the question in person. So,
did you get prank calls? Do people troll you on that?
No, I don't. I've never gotten a prank call. Knock on wood. But no, I think
send your prank calls, please.
Yeah, send us your prank calls. We may actually play them. Looking at you.
The best one gets played.
Yeah, the best one gets played. There we go. That'll work.
There you go.
That'll work. The most trolly question. We could probably got to do that every week too. That'd be kind of cool.
You get a code for the most trolly question.
Absolutely.
So you're giving away code.
I am.
Yeah,
Thank you. Good transition, man. All right. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, I do. Because I have Amazon Prime. I did get a free code to get a free copy of Battlefield 5, and I'm going to release it now. So whoever hears this podcast first and wants to try out Battlefield 5, here's what you can do. For PC, you're going to log in with an EA account, wherever you want to add the game, whatever PC, console, whatever. Click the Origin menu and select Redeem Product Code. It's that easy. If you're going to redeem your code on Origin, log into Origin, select Game Library, and then click Add a Game in the top right corner. This will drop down to an option to click Redeem Product Code. And here's the code. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm going to do it right now.
You can't use it, Joe. Oh. you already got it anyway. You already got the game. All right. Here we go.
But I just want people to go, this thing doesn't work.
Well, it's only good for one use, so whoever gets it, gets it. So I already have the game, so it doesn't make sense for me. All right, here it is. Drum roll, please. 5. Z as in zebra. D as in dog. D as in dog. X as in X-ray. G as in George. P as in Peter. T as in Tom. T as in Tom. D as in dog. S as in Sam. 2. M as in Mary. 2. 3. D as in dog. V as in Victor. V as in Victor. Z as in zebra. And Q as in quince? I don't know. Whatever Q is. Quinoa. There we go. Quinoa. There we go. There it is. So the first person who gets the code, congratulations. You got a free copy of Battlefield 5. Good time to jump in and see what DICE has done on their latest game. And so hopefully someone will check that out and grab it.
World War II.
World War II. There you go.
World War II. There's some good maps on there.
Absolutely.
Very enjoyable.
I also have a Destiny 2 podcast I want to let everybody know about. It's called Guardian Downcast. We interview content creators and community members to hear their story. So if you like the Destiny game, check that out as well. We've got 107 episodes so far with gamers from all over the Destiny community. So we have a lot of fun. I have my co-host, Mr. Hazelnut, and he has been with me the whole time, and we've had a great time just knocking at each other. It's kind of a big brother, little brother scenario. But yeah, we have a great time. So check that out if you're interested. You can go to guardiandowncast.com for all the information and details. So thanks for listening, and we hope you join us next time. Take care, everyone, and be good to each other. And later, Gator.